What's up, everybody? Thanks for checking us out on Real Gamer News. Smash the like button, subscribe, and check us out on RealGamerNewZ.com. You're watching RGN today. Today in Real Gamer history, the Game Boy Advance turns 19 years old. It will have its 20th year anniversary next year, June 11th, 2021. Nintendo's Game Boy Advance system was released in North America in June of 2001, following a March release in Japan. Its 32-bit, widescreen, innovative graphics and controls took the world by storm and offered built-in save compatibility for every game of all Game Boy Advance titles. Strong first-party and third-party support were some of the benefits of owning the system. Some of my favorites include Advance Wars, Golden Sun, and Zelda Minish Cap. The Game Boy Advance was also known for having Metroid Zero Mission and Metroid Fusion. The best-selling game for the Game Boy Advance is Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, with the number 2 being Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, and the number 3 runner-up being Pokemon Emerald. Other notable titles include Mario Golf, SSX Tricky, and FIFA 06, and Boxing Fever. When you got the Game Boy Advance, it really felt like the future was happening. It's such a linear progression, and the progress was very easy to see in that jump between Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance. The processing power allowed for much more detailed open worlds and much more complicated games in general, and just really felt like a next-gen leap, which we're about to experience as well. Alright, so we've got a big rumor on our hands. Now, a lot of people seem to be forgetting that the Xbox Series S, or the miniature Xbox that's coming out here, is going to be less powerful than the Xbox Series X. Think back to the Xbox One, Xbox One X, right? So for Sony, they're doing something where they're releasing a digital version that's just as powerful as the PS5. It's called the PS5 Digital Edition. But for Xbox, they're actually going to most likely be revealing a console that's much less powerful than the Xbox Series X. And that's why it's going to be able to cost possibly half the price. And after the first year or so, it's going to be mainly xCloud support that's going for. So yeah, that's the situation here. It's a strong rumor that's been coming back and again. Project Lockhart is what it was called originally. So the rumor is the Xbox Series S will be low on storage, digital only, and mainly focused on xCloud support after the first year or two, with eventually models of the Series S coming out which are as small as an Apple TV. Here's Apple TV for reference. So yeah, the first one will probably be larger than this, probably maybe 4 times the size of this. And then eventually they're looking to get the size down to this. And that way you're just going to be going on to xCloud, streaming your games and playing, and you don't really need much hardware in general. So that's the story behind the rumored $200 Xbox Series S, or Project Lockhart. And word is it's going to be much smaller than anybody expects, the initial one. So what do you guys think about that? What does everybody think about that? I personally think that the PS5 digital version is a little bit irrelevant, especially if it's only 50 or 100 US dollars less than the full PS5. I would wait until the Xbox shows their version before you assume, though, that it's the same for them, because I suspect, you know, like I said, that people have forgotten that it's going to be a low-end spec, not the same as Xbox Series X. We might be looking at a 1080p 60 frames per second console here, potentially. And that's going to be $199 US dollars if we're lucky. However, it will be mainly supported by the xCloud after the first year, with low storage as well. So it's mainly a streaming device. It could also be way smaller than expected and eventually end up coming out the size of the Apple TV. So another issue that came up recently is Beat-em-Ups was a YouTuber who had been removed from the Nintendo Ambassador program, and Nintendo introduced a new program. This brought up a whole ton of issues involving Nintendo giving out Switch units and game codes to smaller channels, but then as you get larger, they sort of don't support it anymore. Not really sure what's going on exactly with that, but Nintendo has rearranged some things and they took it as an opportunity to, seems to be in a reverse situation, dump some of the larger channels. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. Nintendo's always had a strange YouTube policy. It seems like Japanese game companies have a hard time with the fair use and the remixing of YouTube stuff. The executives and lawyer teams at some of those companies are just very aggressive, I suppose. So that's the situation there. So shouts out to Cloud Gaming X on YouTube for discovering this. CD Projekt Red released a new Cyberpunk 2077 press release, and in there they mentioned that the release date is September 2020, September 17th to be specific, for the Xbox One, PS4, and PC for the game, and that by the end of the year it will make its way onto Google Stadia. So essentially they've delayed the game without making like a big kerfuff about it. But we did find that out eventually. At the moment, Stadia is definitely suffering. They've working on some exclusives and things like that. There will be more games coming, but we're seeing tons of delays, including Elder Scrolls Online delayed as well for it, and the Mafia trilogy. Part of that reason is that it has to be rewritten for Vulkan tech, like the Linux-based kernel, and rather than the PC architecture, which PS4, PS5 are now using, and Xbox and PC. The other reason for that, we're not just seeing enough people playing Stadia yet. So when YouTube comes out with the integration for Google Stadia, we're going to be seeing way more activity with this platform, and that's what I know. Microsoft is basically making moves to try to destroy Stadia before they even get a chance. But what's really going to give Stadia a chance is things like being able to watch gameplay on YouTube, click it, and then instantly start where you're seeing the other person, like save file transfer sort of thing. Immediately jump into their save file. You're playing the same game that they were just playing. As internets improve around the world and more people are able to take advantage of the 4K edition of that. Speaking of Stadia, there will be a Stadia Direct soon, and we may even see a brand new game. The Founders Edition of the RTX 3080 has leaked. Alright, so one thing, the fans are bi-directional, the heatsink is curved, the PCB is irregularly shaped when it touches the heatsink, and this is almost certainly a Founders Edition. According to rumors, it will ship with the GA104 GPU to replace the RTX 2080 with 48 SMs, that's 3072 CUDA cores. That means that next generation graphics cards, the 3080 should be just barely less powerful than the 2080 Ti. That will be the baseline. So the 3080 Ti will take it up to a whole nother level. It's the Ampere series and it's 7 nanometers. Can't wait for that one. Crash Bandicoot 4 was leaked as the game for Jeff Keighley's upcoming Summer of Game Fest reveal. A new trailer was dropped for Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and Crash Bandicoot 4 also got its full reveal today with the brand new trailer as well, after being leaked previously. Crash Bandicoot 4, it's time. According to leaks and rumors, Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time releases on October 9th, 2020. Horizon Zero Dawn Forbidden West was promising no load times, instant fast travel, and that's why it won't be on the PlayStation 4. It's a huge open world which claims to have extreme detail, no pop-in whatsoever for objects or textures. The game will also serve as a proof of concept for PlayStation 5's SSD. And Xbox is planning to surpass Stadia with their xCloud project, as they plan to replace their server blades with Xbox Series X server blades by the end of the year. This will enable a much higher frame rate, bit rate, and graphical fidelity for streaming games on xCloud. Currently, xCloud is limited to 720p in order to maintain 60 frames per second and extremely low latency. That could all change soon when they add those blades to the server rack.
And now for the quick news. Star Wars Squadrons will have a multiplayer mode with dogfights of 5 vs 5 battles and fleet battles with multi-stage conflicts similar to the Battlefront 2 series. Ships are also customizable with over 50 parts. There's even a single-player campaign which allows you to play as 2 different combat pilots for both the Empire and New Republic. Star Wars Squadron is coming to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC via Origin, Steam, and Epic Games Store on October 2nd, 2020, As previously mentioned, the PC and PS4 versions will support full VR. Microsoft's hiring for senior producer at 343 Industries to work with core services team to help develop a new project in the Halo universe. The job listing reads, "This is your chance to work on one of the most exciting and creative intellectual properties in the industry with one of the industry's most talented teams." 343 Industries currently has 700 employees, with most of those working on Halo Infinite. This second string team could be leading to start on a job for a full team, which would make a game that comes after Halo Infinite. As to what exactly the project is, we don't know yet. There have been games like Halo Wars, Gears Tactics, which lend a hint of what could be done, the route the title could take, or we could see a multiplayer-focused title. Multiple cancelled games have also leaked about Halo, which were very unusual, so who knows really. It could even be a Halo Battle Royale, but time will tell the truth on this one. Shouts out to Randall Thor 19 for the facts on this one. You can catch more details from him in the link section of our video's description, just as with all episodes going forward. Overclock and visual upgrade patch for the hacked Switch device instigates questions in the community. Do recall, recently, Virtuous made the bold claim that they will be able to port PS5 games and Xbox Series X games to the Nintendo Switch, causing a higher level of scrutiny on what they'll be doing. Nintendo Switch Pro has been long since rumored, and could be in fact necessary for third-party titles to be supported. There could also be a cloud option like what was tested in Japan, only for Resident Evil 7 on the Switch cloud, through data streaming. Rumors that Microsoft is trying to get xCloud on Switch continue to show that it's a strong solution for third-party support issue of Nintendo Switch. We'll continue to track these reports and more as information becomes available. And now it's time for RGN Analysis, where we break down one industry topic per day. In today's RGN Analysis, we're breaking down our presentation grade of a C to the EA Play 2020 event. You can check out our full review on RealGamerNewZ.com, along with all the major announcements and gameplay. The announcements EA games didn't have spoke louder for most gamers than the ones that they did have. It's a step in the right direction that games with a single-player focus are being developed, when well-balanced multiplayer games are being promised, but EA has a lot to prove and a long way to go to regain gamers' trust. They've just scored an average grade, and a lot of room for improvement remains for Vince Zampella to rein in the horns of EA games. A great Command & Conquer remaster and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, a strong single-player title with no microtransactions, could be a sign of great things to come. AAA publishers are realizing that making great titles for a higher upfront cost can still be lucrative even in the age of free or cheap titles with an in-game purchase overload. What we expect now from EA games is definitely a revival of the Battlefield series. Perhaps Bad Company 3 could provide such an opportunity. With Vince Zampella able to provide the vision and support needed to deliver the goods, that seems like a real possibility finally. Medal of Honor Above and Beyond, the VR title, is headed to Oculus Quest, PlayStation VR, and Steam VR with a crazy virtual World War II project that could very well blow our minds. We should have been shown more on that. Rumor has it that Vince Zampella is working with EA Games to create a new Call of Duty competitor and putting the Titanfall series on hold for the moment. EA should address this rumor by either announcing a Titanfall 3 game or stating that they are not working on the franchise at this time. Come on, Vince. We're ready for your new invention. Don't forget, people, this is the creator of Call of Duty and Medal of Honor franchises.
And now for the community comments. Gina Fitz says, Resident Evil 8, always been a huge fan. Looking forward to that game as well. Shatij Bajal says, keep up the videos, great work. Thanks, man. Bajan Shinobi said, didn't realize graphics cards were that big. Damn. Yeah, they're huge. And some constructive criticism about the green screens. We'll address that right now. We've been waiting for quite some time for some extra equipment to ship due to the, situation and everything like that. We have been waiting for some stuff to show up. So we'll do our best to continually improve. And if you see anything that looks like it needs to be better, drop a comment in there. We'll definitely work on it. So thank you everybody for those comments, and we appreciate it. Drop a comment below and we'll read it on the show next time and give you a shout out.
And now for the good news, where we give you today's positive side of gaming. Scientists have observed the fifth state of matter in space for the first time, using ultra-cold atoms which offer an unprecedented opportunity to unlock the mysteries of the quantum universe beyond our current understanding, research showed Thursday. This month marks 25 years since scientists produced the first fifth matter of state which has extraordinary properties totally unlike liquids, solid, gases, and plasmas. This achievement has garnered the Nobel Bell Prize and changed physics. This weekend, a rare ring of fire solar eclipse was visible across parts of Africa, Middle East, and Asia on Sunday. Though the moon orbits Earth about once a month, its orbit is tilted by 5 degrees, so the perfect alignment that creates an eclipse is relatively rare, said NASA. Often the moon is too high or too low in our sky to block out the sun. Northern India experienced a near full solar eclipse with 99.4% of the sun blocked at the peak of the event. Some portions of Europe and also Pacific had the chance to view partial solar eclipse depending on weather conditions. Locations far from the path of annularity will see only a small part of the sun covered by the moon, while places close to the path will see almost all the sun obscured, NASA said. A new study shows that video games can enhance reading skills. In the game Animal Crossing, for instance, players become characters who live in a town full of animals. Over the course of the game, you can buy a house, travel from town to town, go to museums, and do other ordinary things. All the while, you're writing notes to other players and talking to the animals. Because kids are interested in the game, they often end up at a reading level way above their grade. And if they say they don't like to read, this is how we can get them to read. The study also showed that educational games can inspire new interests. After playing a game called Age of Mythology, kids like 8-year-old son have started checking out mythology books from the library or joining internet chat groups about mythological characters. History can come alive to play participating in the game. Even violent games have a positive side. Grand Theft Auto 3 does not exist to go off on shooting people. When the game begins, your character has just been released from jail. You need to figure out how to make a living, but the only people you know are criminals. Along the way, you end up fighting or killing people, but you don't have to. The game offers a palette of choices. Players must confront moral dilemmas, develop social relationships, and solve challenging problems that might apply in real life. How compelling would a game be if you only had good choices?
What's up? Thanks for checking out Real Gamer News. Smash the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell. We appreciate it. Till next time, keep it real, keep it gaming. Peace.
Thanks for checking out today's video. Like and subscribe and ring the bell notification so you don't miss out on future videos. Peace.